a bit windy here. You can see the casino strip in full bloom. So much light that you cannot see any stars up there. Anyway, I'll just do a short introduction to a live stream I was part of last week, and I've asked my friend Shane if I could have it put up in my channel, and he happily agreed to lend me the video. And it's all about moving on, and it was fun chatting with 3 people in there, all part of Life After group. And I'm gonna be putting the link of the group in the description box. If anybody wants to join the group, I'll be one of the people who will be accepting your request. So please come and join us. This group is specifically designed for people who wants to move on. We avoid posting stuff that will trigger people and will remind them of Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's all about moving on. Also, I will post the link of the YouTube channel of Life After Jehovah's Witnesses. If you want to see people who are happily moving on and how they live, how successful they are now with their lives, please check out the channel. And also there are conversations with life coaches and therapists there. And yeah, if anybody wants of you, if anybody is has the time to check it out, please subscribe to their channel as well. It's a good, highly recommended channel for people who wants to move on and dare to dream. Yeah. So yeah, without further ado, let's watch the live stream from last week.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. It's nice to see you here this afternoon. Well, it's this afternoon in New Zealand. One of our guests is from Macau at the moment, and the other 2 here in New Zealand. So we look forward to being able to find out. And this is our first of our Let's Chat segments. And today's subject is going to be about what our ladies have been through once they started to wake up, what they realized, and what they've done to help themselves. So let's bring our guest on. Here we have Janice from New Zealand. How are you today, Janice?
Hello everyone.
Nice to have you here. And
thank you for having me.
No, we look forward to catching up with you shortly. And our other guest, Stella.
Hi, hello, Stella? Good morning.
Good morning. It's 11 o'clock your time.
Yes.
It is. And when I get the screen to do its thing, we'll bring on Emma, who is also from New Zealand. How are you today, Emma?
Hey guys, going well. Hey Stella, hey Janice.
How are you going?
Going well, how are you?
Good.
That's good.
So, we all have one thing in common, and we hope to hear from you ladies as regards all the sorts of things that you've been up to when you've left, what you've done to look after yourselves, and some of the things that you moved on. Maybe we can start with Stella. Stella!
I almost had a heart attack.
Well, we've got the ambulance on standby. I don't know how we'll get it to you, but it is on standby.
Okay, good to know, in case.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your story. When did you wake up and come out?
Back in 2018, middle of 2018, last part of July, and then yeah, it was an instant waking up process. So 1 week before the internet. I mean, no, 1 week before the convention in Hong Kong. I woke up and I sat down during the convention like a zombie. It was a funny experience. Anyway, yeah, 1 week before the convention, I woke up, and then after that, I skipped attending meetings. I skipped doing field service, and then the elders started hunting me down for my field service report, and and then by November, I disassociated myself because I just couldn't take all the calling and messaging. So yeah.
Okay.
They hastened my exit process. I was planning to prolong it so I could spend more time with my friends inside the congregation, but they gave me no choice. So yeah, that's my quick awakening.
It was your quick awakening.
Almost 3 years now.
3 years.
Uh-huh.
So you're definitely awake because you're here now.
Yeah, never been better.
And what about you, Janice?
Right. So it's about 5 years since I haven't been to any meetings, and it was mainly a slow process over the last 20 years, just doubting things that my instinct told me was wrong, but just sort of ignored it. So it wasn't till and my husband had been encouraging me all the time, every meeting he'd tell me that's not right. And I'd just listen and I'd always found everything so complicated anyway, and thought I was stupid because I couldn't follow it. And finally, I did some Googling. It was my son that brought up about the Australian Royal Commission, and I think that's what made me look outside the box and just check things, make sure that. And then I found all the so-called apostate sites, and it led from there. And as soon as I realised, yes, there is, because it was the one hope that we disagreed with. And when I found out that other people only believed in one hope instead of a heavenly and earthly hope, that sort of was the end. As soon as I realised, there's other religions that believe this, we exited. So it was all hinging on me. And then I sort of told Stephen, I'm not going to the meetings anymore. So that's 5 years ago. And then out we went, and lots of things have happened since then, obviously, family-wise, with relatives that belong in the organisation, the way that it's affected us from then on. But it was more my husband that helped me wake up slowly because, as I said before, I couldn't follow half of it anyway, and switched off at the meetings. And I was just going along in body, really, for so many years. When I look back, I just can't believe it. But yeah, but it all fits into place beautifully now.
Yeah,
sure does. Yeah. And what about you, Emma? What's your little bit of story?
My little bit of story. It's a bit of a long, I guess, story. I was baptized at 12, so I kind of became inactive around 15, 16. And then when I got pregnant, that's when I was looking to really figure out if that's what I wanted for my life. And so that was when I was 20, 21. And then probably a year or two after that, or maybe a year after that, when was it? 2015, I got disfellowshipped. Even after I had made the necessary requirements of me breaking up with my partner at the time, but yet 2 weeks later they disfellowshipped me, and I'm like, hang on, this isn't fair. But they didn't do the appeal thingy, and so then I kept on going back to meetings in hopes to be reinstated for when I went back up to Palmerston North, so that way I'd be around good association. And then I went to the meetings to speak to the elders and basically was told to leave. It was weird. So I didn't go to the meetings until, when was it? 2 years later. So from 24 to 26, I was reinstated, and I was trying my best because they wouldn't study with me when I was disfellowshipped, and I wanted to be certain before I went back And so I studied. I said what I needed to say to get reinstated, despite what was going on in the background. And I studied, and I realized, hang on, stuff wasn't adding up. There was the new Purple Kingdom Rules book, and some of the things that they were saying about the order in which the last state tribulation thing would happen was different to what I was taught when I was younger. And it was also different to what the Bible taught. And I'm like, hang on. And also I was feeling like I was a diseased person because nobody wanted to accept invitations to lunch, games nights. They didn't want to invite me over. They didn't even want to be in parts with me in the meeting or go out in ministry. And then I started watching Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if anybody's seen that TV show, but it's a pretty cool TV show. Yeah, and it started to make me think about certain things. And I'm like, And then I also had my child's father sending me information saying that the organization had stocks and shares in like companies that make weapons of mass destruction, porn, and all sorts. And I'm like, nah, that's lies. That's lies. And then I found out about all the child sex abuse and things like that. Finally, once my dad was like, okay, I'll answer your questions. And he told me these things. And I'm like, so when I found out all of that stuff, that was the last straw for me. So in was it August of 2000, 3 years ago, August 3 years ago, so 2021, 2019, 2018, was it? Something like that, 3 years ago, I handed in my, I was going to say resignation, my disassociation letter, and I haven't looked back since.
So do you regret it?
No. Sometimes I look back and I wish that I had just stayed faded before I had Riley. But then again, there would always be a portion of me always wondering, like, what if? So I'm really glad that I did go back. I'm really glad I figured it out for myself. So for those of you who are kind of in that situation where they're like, they're not sure, I do not regret any decision that I made because it's led me to where I am today, and I'm really happy with my decision.
Cool.
Well done.
So when you think all three of our ladies, what would you say has been one of the biggest things you've been able to, or been a help to you to be able to get where you are now?
That's a big question.
There's a lot of factors.
Yeah, you're right, Stella.
I've got something. It's not the biggest thing, but it is big. And for me, being quite a shy person, I thought I was shy, but I don't know whether I am. In the organisation, I was shy. I've realised I'm not shy. I didn't like doing witnessing and all that, but you know what I love doing and what's helped me so much is every single week I'm telling someone I'm an ExJw. And I actually love doing it. For me, it's a therapy. I can't even explain it because I wasn't even good at witnessing. Like, what did I do just at the market the other day? Because I go to the vegetable market every week. Shane had rung me up and asked me to do this little segment, and I got late for market. And the regular man that I talked to, he says, "Oh, you're late today." And I says, "Oh, I've got some important things I've been doing today." And I told him what it was. And it got back onto being ExJw. It's just a little thing like that. And then he says, "I used to be a Jehovah's Witness." And he's no one that I know, but anyway, he says, "I left when I was 17. And he says, "They're not that bad. They're not. And I says, "Well, they've changed since you were there." And he tried actually look up about, it was his father that was a JW. So, you know, just little things like that, or someone will know a cousin or a friend or a neighbour or whatever. And they actually sort of encourage me, but they're strangers some of the time. And they'll say, "Wow, that's amazing." And they actually they just say, "You're brave." And they they're quite encouraging and very commending. So I just take all that and I just feel good about it. I don't know. I'm strange, I suppose, but I do that a
I'm
lot.
witnessing.
You're not strange.
So did you put your report in for that? All that unwitnessing you've been doing?
Well, I've done more of that than what I ever did witness.
You're more well-spoken now than before. Taking every opportunity to
It's not
unwitness.
hard either. It's not hard.
And yeah, people are just amazed when we tell our stories, right? Because they have no idea what being an ExJw means, and they know Jehovah's Witnesses exist, but they don't know that we exist, former members. And yeah, like with Janice, I also embrace being called an apostate. So they're calling me that, so yeah, might as well take it. And that's when I started my activism, when I accepted that I am an apostate. So be it.
Have you had any funny experiences, Stella, with the reaction of people?
When I tell them that I'm an apostate?
Yeah.
Well, with non-JDubs people? Oh, with JDubs.
Well,
No,
either way.
Well, with my son, I had a funny experience when I told him, because I never told anybody that I'm waking up
Right.
until I'm quite sure that I'm really living. And then at the end of, I think that was October, when I told my eldest that I'm disassociating myself, and he said, what happened? Because he was out ahead of me, and he was so surprised because he knows that I truly believe, being a Jada for a long time, and I stuck with the religion, and he knows that pretty well because I was the one encouraging him to go back to, being an active witness. And then all of a sudden, I told him I'm disassociating. So yeah, it really, blew his mind off what happened. So I told him. So I never forgot that reaction from his face. That surprised look. Like he was so thankful and happy that I'm living. That was the big encouragement I got.
Cool. What about you, Emma?
In regards to funny experiences, or what was the first one?
Yeah. Funny experiences, when you've decided that you were going to leave. In your case, you wrote your letter. Anything funny happen since then?
Anything funny depends on what you mean by funny.
Anything that amused you with a reaction, a response?
Oh, okay. Well, so two families in the congregation that I was in, their kids go to the same school that my son goes to. Now, whenever I see them, at first I would just kind of ignore them because I knew that they were going to ignore me anyway. And then one time I said hi to one of them when they were sitting next to just a normal mum, and she said hi to me. I'm like, huh. So I started saying hi to them, no matter like where they are, and I just keep on saying hi until recently, maybe a few months ago, because I've started parking on another street, because my son's class is in a different area, and I continually say hi to her. But there was this one day when I came out of the classroom, and she was walking with her daughter, well, her youngest anyway. And as soon as she saw me, she turned around and she had her back facing me. And I'm like, so I continued walking up to her, because my car was past her anyway. So I walked up there and I said, hey, that's some lovely pants. You've got a wonderful outfit on you today. And she just, I'm invisible to her every single time. There was another day when I was leaving. We were at the crossing to cross the road together, and I continually said, hi, oh, that's a lovely yellow top on you. It really suits your skin color or something like that. And your hair color, skin tone. And as we were walking, she decided to cross the road, and then I crossed the road. So she stood there for a little while on her phone, and there was a hopscotch there. So I decided to play hopscotch with Riley just to see what she would do. And then she crossed the road back again. She's on her phone this whole time as well, pretending she's on a phone call. And so, yeah, she crossed the road and then keeps on going back up and then has to cross the road again to get to her car. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm just kind of enjoying saying hi to these people, sharing my love that we were told to. It's like the greatest commandment. Yeah, so it's a little bit of fun just saying hi. Eventually she might say hi, who knows, but that's a little bit of fun that I have.
Oh, I had a similar experience with you, Emma. I met with my friends from the former congregation, and I saw them in the street after I sent money to my kids, and I saw them and I ran over them because I still feel the same, even though I left.
Yeah.
They're still my friends inside me. I miss them, and so I was so excited seeing them, and I said hi, and then one girl ran up. And hi, yeah, she literally ran up. That was the born-in one, and then the three left in the circle are they're just converted, and they were trying to disappear one by one until only one was left there standing. And I can see from the background because she's also starting to move back, and somebody was calling her from the other side and trying to come here, something like that, and then yeah. And she was crying at the time, but that was a funny experience because it's like I broke the circle when I came in, and everyone started to disappear. And then another one when there was still a cart witnessing in the Senate Square. I think that was Christmas time, and I stood there with another friend taking pictures, and one J-Dub approached me. She used to the same congregation that I was in, and she came to the congregation at the time I was living. So we met for some time, but then she saw me after a year, and she approached me while I was taking picture, and she said, "Your face is kind of familiar," and she started preaching to me. and then she was asking, "Where did I see you?" Something like that, and then I said, "You know me." And then all of a sudden it clicked in her mind, and then she just when that happened, that click, she just focused her face on the other side and pretended I'm not there. And I told the girl that was with me at the time, "You see how they react when they find out who I am." They got scared. That was funny. Then she was talking so lively and jolly, and all of a sudden when that click came to her head, she just put her face on the other side, like she was preaching one time and then shunning me the next second. So that was funny. I mean, when you see that sudden change in their facial expression, like they love you you look like a possible Zeta for them when they preach on you, and then when they realize you're an apostate, discard you all of a sudden. So yeah. Strange and funny, but yeah, makes me she just made me realize it's not worth going back if you see those kind of people.
Yeah. So would you say that you've left, you've signed your letter, whatever you've done to go out? In some cases you haven't done yours or anything like that, have you, Janice? You're just sort of I've
left everyone's probably some people sort of shun us and some people don't. I suppose it wouldn't worry me now so much, but at the time I just thought I didn't want them to have any control to do that. I just sort of felt I'm going to do it my way, and out I go. But some people talk to us still, except for family. Family know that they should be shunning us.
Yeah, a bit like that. One of the funny things I find is when you see like J-Dub who might recognise you, you wave at them. They don't know what to do. They turn around and run away. And that's even in the supermarkets. They just, they get a bit stumped. Okay, so each of us has left the J-Dubs. Has that been the end of it? or have you found that you needed to do things so that you can start getting out at the thinking right to be able to move on? What would you say to that?
I see what you mean.
So is there
What were you
anything
going to
that
say,
you've
Janice?
done?
Originally, I needed to meet other Jehovah's Witness people, ExJw witness. I had to. Like, it could be online, just looking at sites, like all the ExJw apostate sites. I just needed that to, even though I knew I was on the right track, it sort of just carried on reinforcing other people had things happen, which was good for me. I'm not the only one. I haven't made a mistake. It just got that scrambled up brain working well again, that the fact that I had other experiences similar to ours, different, but yeah. And then a few meetups that I went to meet people in person was nice. But I don't have to have that so much now, but it's still quite nice. I think once you've been a JW, there's something there that's permanently that desire to still sort of talk with ex-JWs that have been through it together. I don't know. It's just I don't know why I still need that reassurance. It's not like it was. It's definitely getting less and less and less, because I do all sorts of other things now with clubs and associations and hobbies. So I'm not dependent on it, but it was very helpful.
It does make sense, Janice, too, because we've all gone through this particular experience that people, the worldly people that witnesses would say, so people who haven't been a Jehovah's Witness have never experienced. So it's kind of that unspoken level of understanding where we can kind of instantly feel comfortable. And it makes complete sense. And also at one of the meetups that we went to in Petone with Dad, I was saying that it is nice to like meet up with fellow ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, especially at the beginning, because sometimes you just feel like you're the only one, or you might be crazy, but you realize actually, no, all of these other people have had similar experiences. We're not crazy. We just see the truth. We've woken up. We understand. So it's actually really cool to have that little community that's ever growing, and we've got those connections to know that we're not alone.
Yeah. That's one definite benefit.
I was thinking in answer to your question, Dad, one of the things for me is that despite leaving 3 years ago almost, because I left still having kind of, I guess you could say, a belief in a higher power. Of what sort, I wasn't sure. And I've slowly been going on that journey to figure it out for myself, because I no longer trust religion, like organized religion or anything like that. So I left it to my own kind of decision to figure out all of that stuff. And last year I finally, because not long after leaving, I kind of looked into numerology and astrology, because my friend Malachi, who I grew up with, he introduced me to those things, which was interesting. But yeah, last year I finally, my earbud keeps on sliding out. Last year I finally decided to look into the Bible and read it and things like that. And for the first time in my life, I really enjoyed reading the Bible, and I'd never felt like that ever before. So finally, on my own terms, without control, I can read it. But also, I noticed that once I started and was trying to go down that path of figuring it all out, I started to get some mentality things from Jehovah's Witnesses. So the line of thinking of, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, hang on, no. So I put my Bible away. And I wasn't reading the Witness Bible. I was reading my NIV Bible that I got when I was checking out the Baptist church at 16 years old. It's like a teenage girl Bible. But nonetheless, I put it away because I had these mentalities pop up, and I'm like, I know. So I put it away and started to kind of attempt to work on it. Thanks to TikTok and seeing all the professionals on there, I've had a few chances to actually take a step back and actually look at where I am at and what's kind of causing these thought patterns and things like that, and had a little bit of a chance to kind of address that, and also through with help of Astarte and some of the other life coaches I've been had the pleasure of being in communication with. But then again, not only have I done that, so then I go back to reading the Bible and figuring out all of that, and some more Jehovah's Witness mentality would pop up, and I'm like, so I put it away, and then my Bible actually got locked away in my top drawer, and so I couldn't even read it for the 3 months after that anyway. So it's just like it keeps popping back up, and it's definitely something that we need to actively address, despite saying, well, yeah, we've left. I've signed that paper. I've disassociated, or I've been disfellowshipped. I'm out as a Jehovah's Witness, but we've got this vine that's ingrained in our mind, and it's so hard. What's one of those horrible vines that's really hard to kill, Dad? Is it oxalis? I don't know. Those really difficult
Oxalis
vines
is in
that
the
are
ground.
like, there's a vine just outside my window on the fence. It's green leafy, and like the vine, it kind of grows under the ground and sprouts up even further, and it's got more, and it's really difficult to get rid of. It's almost like that's like the Jehovah's Witness mentality of that controlling mindset, that it just, like, no matter if you cut off a little bit here and there, you think that that bit's gone, it's going to regrow, and so you need to have that continual active work at it, because it just keeps on popping up. So no, when you leave, it's not gone. You need to work at it.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. You have to take off each one of your former beliefs. Well, I did that for some time. Like disprove all my previous beliefs, and after doing that, I went under like a depression period. Like I locked myself in my room because I mourned. I mourned my beliefs. I mourned my hope, because all my life I was thinking I'm gonna be going to paradise, and after leaving the witnesses, I learned that I'm not gonna be having that. So I really mourned, felt so sad about that, because that was part of my life, my entire life, and then losing it, everything, my friends, my hope, my belief. So I locked myself in my room for a long time. I was not going out, and yeah, just crying. And then it went for a while, that time, until I said, why am I locking myself here? I better go out. And that's when I think January, I started my activism. So after mourning and feeling lonely for some time, I got up and decided, I'm gonna do something about this. It's not the end of the matter. I need to help anybody, not the ones inside the religion, but the public. I want to warn them about the danger of going into becoming a Jehovah's Witness. So that's what I'm doing until now. I'm focusing on the public, not the ones inside, and also welcoming those coming out. But my activism is not for the ones who are inside the religion, but the ones who are outside, the possible victims. So I don't want them to experience what we experienced being jaded. So yeah, it was a different process for me. And then after that, I just dive into reading a lot of books, and that's when I found solace, and also reaching out to other ExJw. So I met a lot of ExJws within this 3-year period of my my freedom.
Yeah.
And
so have you taken any further steps with getting your thinking right, Stella?
oh yeah, also I met with Astarte. So yeah, it's a 1-year healing process with Astarte. So it's not just a one time coming to her. It's there's a lot of things that need to be worked on with my thinking, and I feel so much better now. And my rabbit hole visitation is not that frequent anymore. Unlike last year, I was really down at the bottom of it. So, and but now, since she helped me with my thinking, and it's quite easy. I don't go into my rabbit hole that deep anymore. I mean, I can climb myself out this time. Unlike before, I really struggle, but no. And I feel so much better with myself. I can express myself better now. And yeah.
Can you give us an example of something that a start age, she's a life coach, that you were introduced to? What was one of the big things or little things that really helped to get your mind?
Well, she kept asking me questions, arranging my thoughts logically, and not focusing on things that would make me go back to that sort of thinking. So it's like she lent a hand where I can hold on to, and she just pulled me up right up of my rabbit hole. That's how I felt it. Yeah, it's like a light at the end of the tunnel. Whenever I come talk to her, and she gave me quick fixes how to help myself, because she's not. I don't want to be too dependent on her. So she gave me tricks on how to help myself, quick fixes. Yeah, what to ask to myself, and if I feel down, what am I gonna do with myself? Yeah, and if I think something like this, what am I gonna do? And if I encounter a situation like this, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? Things like that. So I kept that in mind, and it helped me a lot, especially with past traumas. Also, how to deal with family, friends, things like that. Especially with my own thoughts. So. Quick fixes. Yeah, I love those quick fixes.
Yeah.
I still use them.
That's good. That's what it's there for. Starter has obviously given you tools to keep on going, so that's great. Now, I know you're a little bit different, Janice. You ended up being in touch with some people in Australia.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
How have you found that they've helped you?
Well, I found them through online just by Googling contacts and sending emails to strangers, and then we found some people in Australia. I won't say their names because there was a whole family of them. There's 4 of them that had just come out of the organisation the same time as us, and they were kind of on the same track with beliefs, because as I said, one hope was where we were going. There's only one hope. So we sort of we did a weekly Bible study, I suppose, but it was like a catch up and a socialisation, and we were on Skype every Friday night, and it was actually quite nice. So that's virtually for 3 to 4 years we've been doing that, and in that time we've visited them and gone over to Australia to visit them, and my son's visiting them now right as we speak in Australia, and one of them's come over here and he's coming over again, one of the other brothers. So that's been really good, but it's also helped me probably study the Bible like Emma a little bit on your own, free will, whatever you want to believe. And we've sort of got into a different area now where we're not sort of focusing on studying the Bible anymore. We're looking at archaeology and all sorts of other things, and ancient cultures and all that.
Yes.
I love those.
It's just sort of the world's been here not more than 6,000 years, like the Bible. It's sort of like, how behind can you be, when you start looking at the other civilizations and history. So that's been really good, but we built up that lovely friendship, which is priceless. And every Friday night you'd be, even though I'd drop off to sleep sometimes while the guys were, because the men used to love talking about it all, and I'd just go off and, listen in the background. But it was so lovely. It was just, incredible people, absolutely incredible family.
And you're learning.
I would say that they got us through, well, me personally, more than my husband. I think it just sort of helped scramble out all those thoughts. And so much so now that I'm not there's no way I wouldn't join a church again for number one, and I'm allowed to believe whatever I like now for number two. And it's not, and a lot of the Bible I've discarded because it's just not correct. All the things that I knew were wrong. When I say not correct, there's something else behind some of that writing. It's not a loving God that, shall we say. I won't get into all that, but yeah, so it's been a big journey in that. But I'm quite relieved to have, like Emma says, I don't have to feel guilty anymore. That guilt's gone. I don't ever now at all feel guilty for. Sometimes you'll have to growl yourself if you do have a silly little thought, but it soon goes. I can discard it. I don't have to worry about that. Birthdays, Christmas, whatever, just all the stuff that was sort of so wicked and bad, and hair length and beards and you name it. There's so much, isn't there? None of that bothers me at all.
Well, I think that's a good sign if you sometimes you feel that, feeling bad when you're discovering something. For me, it pushed me to, dig deeper, because there's something wrong if I feel something like that. I need to get rid of that feeling, and I need to continue on what I'm researching on what I'm doing, so I would get rid of that feeling. I need to satisfy myself, something like that. So it's a good feeling, Janice, if you feel something like that. Just keep going.
But having those friendships is so important. Just it replaces, everything you've lost when you can replace, like your family is the main thing that you've lost. But fortunately, it's only sisters and brother-in-laws and nieces and nephews. I shouldn't just say fortunately, because they're still important, but it's a lot easier than if it was my husband and children, I feel.
What's your favorite topic that you discussed in that call, in that meetup, Janice?
The favorite
topic
for
when you're talking to the guys in Australia.
I think it was the hope, what's going to happen to us when we grow old and die, and what our hope for the future was. Because of course there's the heavenly and the earthly hopes that the witnesses have entertained, and even though I'm all scrambled up and mixed up, I still think there's some sort of earthly hope here one day. I don't know. Don't ask me who's giving it to us or whatever. But I just do not believe in a heavenly hope. There's, I think that's one thing I've taken from the witnesses, is an earthly hope, not a heavenly hope. But there's only certainly, all this class system was the big thing that I had to get that out of my mind. But you could go on forever about that. And
different interpretations, different understandings from different cultures, different groups.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just sort of thinking my religion, if you'd like it, is just my behaviour, how I treat people, how, if not
love.
Love. That just sums the whole thing up. Nice and easy. It's not even hard. Simple. I've learnt that from other so-called worldly people have taught me that. My instincts told me anyway, but like just people I come into contact with that have never been religious in any form whatsoever. One person who's quite a dear friend, she cherishes even like an insect. She'll rescue it if it comes inside. Almost like spiders, which I could squash them easily. But
even big spiders.
She'll take it outside and rescue it and put it in a place safe. And that's a true spiritual person. She's never been religious, not religious at all, but she's spiritual. There's something there that's really. Oh, my plug's going off. It says I have to plug it in.
While she's doing that, it reminded me of something that I figured out. Was that a lot of the people in the organisation I felt never had, like, they would always talk about being zealous and have that zeal, but like I guess we never really understood what zeal was. Well, I didn't. And then when you see people out of the religion, say they're into spirituality of some kind, like with crystals and all of that, or like even they are spiritual in terms of biblical spirituality with having a God and things like that. The people that who weren't a Jehovah's Witness, they had more love and desire and zeal. I still don't really know what the word is, but they had more
Empathy?
of a connection or something with their God. Whereas as a Jehovah's Witness, I never really met people that had that connection, like that relationship. So one thing that I learned was that in regards to the Bible and God and things like that, it's more about relationship than religion, because religion is there to basically control, to divide, to like it spreads a lot of hate as well. So yeah, for me, a lot of things I've learned is that it's all about relationships and love than it is with religion. I just
Janet, somebody would like to ask you a question, if it's okay.
Right.
What
Yeah,
would it
that's
look
fine.
like for you if Steve had remained a devout JW throughout your awakening process, and vice versa for him?
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and think about that. I think it would have been me stuck there more than him at the end, even though it took me to release us. I'll try and think of it if he was still there. I know, if he was still there, it would have been restrictive. I think I would have been, it would have been exhausting. Eventually, I think it would have taken its toll because I would have been nagging.
Really?
Well, I think it was already getting a little bit like that because I would often go to meetings without him. You know, even though he was the one with more knowledge than me and more JW in the beginning, he was still very spiritual. But I used to always say, "Oh, well, you need to come to the meetings because people are asking where it." Because I'd trot along on my own, and people would always ask where he was, and I'd make excuses. It was really almost, I felt guilty, sort of, that he wasn't pulling his weight, JW wise. I think it would have put a definite strain on our marriage. In fact, I think it probably was, without me realising it, the last 15 years anyway, that we were there, without realising that there was a strain, because we weren't doing all the right things that you have to do. So it's sort of, if I'm not doing this, then if it's not me doing it right, he wasn't doing it right. It was sort of just constant. It definitely, I think it could have ended up in a disaster, and it wouldn't be enjoyable, and I might have been depressed, I think. And we would have been in two different directions and separate, and it wouldn't have allowed me to carry on freely. It would be the same for him too. There would have been that sort of it would have been, I think it would be just ghastly. I can see why marriages break up. I think it possibly would have gone that way. Yeah.
What about Steve? You mentioned yourself. Steve sort of woke up a little while ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he did really, without us realising he was awake. He was, yeah. And that's going back 20 years ago. And that could be why all this time I've felt like he stopped going witnessing at least 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I always felt really guilty about it. And I says, I feel guilty because I didn't go either. After a while, I thought if he's going to stop, I didn't either, because I thought I'm not going out on my own, because I was that person. I sort of needed him as a crutch a little bit anyway. And no one else seemed to take me under their wing. So it was because that led to me waking up, really, even though it was slow.
Yep.
I always felt, and I says, don't you feel guilty that we're not going, because we're still sort of these so-called J-dubs, we're just weak, still believed half of it, still thought it was the right religion, there's nothing else out there. So I think for him, he's pretty easygoing, and he was just needing me to sort of I suppose subconsciously he was just feeding me these little bits and pieces all the time, not knowing that he was even needing to wake me up. It's so ridiculous. We didn't really know what was happening, but it's hard to explain. But he fed me. We'd go to a funeral, and as soon as you'd hear the funeral talk about these hopes, I'd be sort of looking at him, and the whole time I knew it was wrong, and I'd just say, look, they're going to sort it out. I can remember thinking, they'll get these hopes right. It's not, heavenly hope. They'll work it out that everyone's on earth. It's an earthly hope for everyone. I think that he would have, Stephen being him, I think it would have gone to depression for him, because I'm not saying he's a depressive person, but he would have held it all in and just sort of contained it. And he doesn't explode like me, but he probably needed to say, get out of that place. Let's stop going to the meeting. And then he's not that personality, but he should have, and we would have got out quicker. I should growl him for that.
Well, you are where you are now, and that's the most important thing.
He wasn't firm enough.
Well, next time I see Steve, I'll tell him.
Yeah.
What about you, Stella? Have you had anything like that?
No, but I think it would be hard for me to leave if all of my kids are baptized. But none of them got baptized. Only one was still attending the meetings when I was leaving. So yeah, it was kind of easy for me to leave. And I don't have a husband. The only thing that I struggled with was the feeling of hurting my dad in the process, because I'm really close to my father, and I don't want to let him down. But yeah, I need to get out of it. I explained it to him, and he gave me a hearing. He listened to me, and he accepted my decision, respected my decision, and he still wants to have that relationship with me. So we don't talk about religion, but we still manage to keep that relationship going, which I appreciate. Yeah, but if my kids were still in, I think it would be hard for me to leave also, because I don't want to go out leaving them behind. I need to take them out. So and at the time they were already out, and one was on the process of leaving. So yeah, that made it so easy for me to leave. I can just hop out without looking back. I don't mind about the friends or other family members that are left behind, as long as my kids are out. I'll be fine with that, because I have this saying that because when I was still a witness, two of them are out, not attending meetings. So if they're gonna be destroyed in Armageddon, I was worried about that. And when I was waking up, if they're gonna be destroyed, then I'm gonna be joining them. So yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's not hard for me to leave. They made it so much easier for me with my transition into the world.
Yep. What about you, Emma? I know that half your family, a third of your family is not a JW anymore. Did you have any experiences like what the other two ladies were talking about? Do you miss your brother?
So yeah, my brother, my mum's side of the family. So that means the auntie and uncles that I were closest with, my grandparents, my brother. They were pretty much the only real family that we grew up with. Like, there was granddad, so dad's dad, but he was the only Jehovah's Witness on dad's side. So when I decided to leave, I did have my uncle in Japan. He's like, well, there's no other organization. Like, I gave him the clear reasons, and he's like, well, there's no other organization that is, what did he say? Do you remember what I told you? Like, this is the closest organization to the truth. So, like, this is the best we're going to get. And I'm like, what? But I do understand what you were saying, Janice, with having that guilt, that feeling like you're not measuring up when you were going to the meetings. Because I know when I was going to the meetings, I'm a single parent with a child, getting to the meetings maybe 5 minutes after it started, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. And I'm like, hang on, I just finished work. I had to sort out dinner, then had to sort out my child into a suit and make sure that it didn't get dirty by the time we got there, and then get in there, make sure that I had everything with me. And I just felt like I never measured up. That part like is very, very similar to what you were talking about.
Very much.
So like when you said that your husband wasn't there half the time, like there's a particular word that I thought about before and now it's not coming to me. But yeah, it's just like the members inside, they can just judge so harshly on these little things. It's like you're not even listening to the Bible that you're being taught about. Why are you focusing on the little speck in your brother's eye when you've got this log behind you? Like, but yeah, fortunately for me, I wasn't. So I've never married, so it was just me being a single parent with my child, and I'm glad that I did what I did to figure out if that was going to be my life, because now I know for Riley that he's not going to be part of that, and his dad is really glad about that as well, because his dad isn't a Jehovah's Witness. But yeah, the main things for me is there are times where I do get sad because my mum or my auntie, like the people that I was closest with in my mum's family was my auntie Tish and my uncle John. Not really mum, not really grandparents. Dad was always busy with elders work or work. So the closest people were my auntie and uncle. And so, yeah, sometimes I get those kind of moments, and then I'm like, hang on, no, I don't want to go back, no way. There was something else that I just thought of. One of the things that also helped me to make a decision about leaving was, who would I want to have at my wedding if I ever get married? Would I want my mum there, or would I want my dad? I chose my dad. That was another decision that helped me to leave as well. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that you had said, Dad. What was the other questions, or was that it?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
So just out of the three ladies there, what would you say to others if they were in a similar position to where you were? Everybody's got their own story, their own journey they're going through to try and get their head out of the cloud of JW land. What would you say to them?
Are these people that are still in the organisation?
Yeah, still in the organisation, or even those ones who have left and they think they're fine, and then all of a sudden someone comes along and whacks them in the backside and they tumble way, way back down to where they were. So what would you say?
I would say to the people who are still in the organisation, in the process, ask questions. Like it says in the Bible, keep on seeking, keep on asking. Like we're told to ask. So if the organization has a problem with questions, well, you can be like, well, we're told. So these are the questions that I need to have answered from you. And if they keep on going round and round in circles, just there's no point, obviously. Like we're also told in the Bible, do not have conversations with idiots. I can't remember how it's worded, but it says it there. So the other thing too would be for those who are out, that are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, that go through the motions, the ups and downs and things like that. Healing is definitely not a straight linear process. Here we go. So healing is not like this. Healing is up and back and backwards and forwards and up and down and backwards. So having a support person, having somewhere that you can flick a message to, that you can go to and get advice to, or just talk to, is definitely something that I would say would help. What do you guys think?
That's right, Emma, what you said too, especially for the ones that are in the organisation. But once you come out, I think a huge part is just having people that they don't have to be buddies that you're sort of living on their doorsteps, but just having them there, because that's what we sort of had built up without realising that we had before we left. We had that network of people, so we just automatically were seeing more and more and more of them, so that once you're out, I think if you can't do it while you're in the organisation, having them there ready when you come out to not pick up the pieces, but just to support you as a friend and not judge you. I thought was just amazing that we never ever they knew, like when we were in the organisation, we were building up this friendship from all the clubs we belonged to that we shouldn't have been in, and it was automatically happening. And we sort of kind of casually told them we were Jehovah's Witnesses because we somehow still thought it was the truth and we might be able to help them. It's so weird when I look back now. Never once did anyone ever judge us. I can't ever remember, and we're mixing with a lot of worldly people. They never downed us. They never said it's a cult. They never said anything at all negative to try and encourage us to leave. But when we told them, one particular friend, when we told her that from our car club that we were leaving, her and her husband were just almost tears to their eyes when they found out we were leaving. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe how happy they were because, it was incredible. But we've still got those friends. And her in particular, she's been really amazing. And everyone else has been so encouraging, even, because with our son who's got the disability he's got, they all got to know him as well because we got invited to weddings and we're still Jehovah's Witnesses, and we'd gone to weddings and we'd gone to little parties at their houses, and they'd invited us round, or they'd come round to our place and met our boys. They always asked after the kids. To this day, they still ask after the boys, and they respect us, and they've said really encouraging things the whole way through. So I think when I left, I was believing what they said. At first I thought, well, witnesses have never told me all these encouraging things about our family. So with them telling me, it was good for me with my personality, because I believed it in the end, and I thought, oh, I'm quite good. I'm doing a good job of bringing my son up, who had been quite a challenge with his disability he had. And yeah, it's amazing, really. I think they've built a lot of confidence in me. It's helped me a lot. When I look back, at the time I didn't quite realise it, but I do now. I can see it was all amazing encouragement. And I think, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I feel pretty normal, if that's I do. I know that I don't like bumping into witnesses in the supermarket. That's about the last thing I've got to work on, is just sort of saying hello, smiling, and walking by with my head up in the air. And then I'll be there, I think. That's my big hurdle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So would you say you've still got a little bit of working on things, Janice?
Mainly just not being scared of any witnesses that I bump into, wondering if they think I'm an apostate, but that's probably, no, not on the spiritual side. I'm completely all right there. I don't believe any of the garbage that I've been fed about not being good enough, and I've got to improve on this and that. And no, I think that my biggest thing is fear of man, as in J-dubs.
Yep. And you'll get there, we know, because you've already come so far with the things you've done to get where you are now.
Well, I can talk to so-called worldly people, no trouble, and tell them my history, no trouble. And they get from A to Z, no trouble at all, so, yeah.
Well done, Jenny.
And what about you, Stella?
Oh, yeah, what about me? So I thought I was doing right.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I thought I was doing right by myself, I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of, meeting up with other people. But then I discovered I have so much to work on myself. And when that time came that I need to work on myself, I'm glad that there's somebody out there that helped me and started helped me so much, and improved so much with myself. I mean, I realized I thought I was doing right, but I figured out I cannot do it by myself.
Yeah.
So reaching out to somebody really helped with my healing process, and just speaking up, talking it out, that really helps a lot. And if anybody out there is struggling, just ask for help. We should be willing to help ourselves. Nobody can help us if we're not willing to help ourselves. So that's what I learned from the past year. And keep educating ourselves. I try to find something every day to learn. I mean, I try to think of even a small thing, consider everything as an education. So if you find something to learn, to be grateful for each day, I think that will help you to keep going. Just keep educating yourself, and it helps a lot. I think that helped me to be grateful also. I learn something new every day. That's a big thing.
Great.
And keep living. We're not living when we're Jadas, but now we have the opportunity to live through life, real life. So I'm enjoying it.
So what are you looking forward to in the future, Stella?
I really want to write a book, I don't know, but
do it.
I will do it. I've been writing bits and pieces, but I want to do this one big thing. And also I would like to translate Crisis of Conscience into Tagalog. I don't know. That'll be a goal. So I'll do that in the future. I think my daughter will help me on that. But that's one of my goals. I think that will be a mother and daughter team.
That's a nice
little
goal.
project.
Have you got a goal, Janice? Is something you're looking forward to doing in the future that you may not have done if you were a JDUP?
I suppose at my age, I just feel I just want to enjoy life. Being normal, having more time with my husband, so we can just sort of enjoy having normal fun and just meeting all the new people that have been really nice to us, having more time with them, and new family because I've been doing genealogy research on Stephen's side of the family, my side of the family, and I've found family on my dad's side because when Dad became a witness, he lost track with his family, and his father, he didn't know his dad anyway. So I've managed to find some second cousins of Dad's, so I'm going to meet them, and I've found some very distant family on my husband's side, and they're part Maori. That's from the branch that married, and I'm already part of their whānau. And I don't even know them, but I just do it on Facebook, and we're sort of doing genealogy stuff on Facebook, and we're going to meet up, and that's the Maori branch of the family who are very welcoming. I've told them my stories. They know me, sort of, until they meet me. So we're going to meet them. So it's just having more time with our family, being normal is what I'm looking forward to. And that relationship, by the way, has with our son, especially because he's been not hard work. He's a really neat person, because Shane knows him. He's a really neat guy. But if I'd stayed in the organisation, that relationship was just going down, 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 down the whole time, almost to the point where I disliked him. And there's nothing wrong with him. It was just because he was so stressed the whole time, trying to do what was required. And then with me sort of like, oh, you're going to have to, do this, this and this. Within reason, I was encouraging him, but then at the meeting, he'd hear things that were sort of, oh, well, Mum didn't say that I had to do that, but then he'd hear that he did have to. So it was just sort of a vicious cycle, but we've got a great relationship now, and that wasn't hard to get after we left. So I'm making up lost time with my boys. I know that sounds weird, but I think all the things, you can't down yourself for it, but it wasn't normal as a parent. It was not normal. So I'm trying to be normal now.
That's great. And Emma, what's something you'd like? Oh, before we get on to that, Emma, Stella, there's a couple of messages there for you. One, and that's from Katie. And
Yes,
two,
I agree.
that is from Suzette. So I guess you've got something you need to work on.
You're developing a fan base already.
Okay. Huge encouragement. Thank you so much.
Okay, Emma, let's take the spotlight off of Stella for the moment. What's something you would like to do for yourself in the future
Well,
that you couldn't when you were a JW?
Yeah, I've written down a few things that I wanted to do when I was a young girl, and one of which was write a book, the exact same storyline that I wanted to do when I was, I don't know, 7. But also to things like I've already done some stuff that I wasn't able to do as a Jehovah's Witness. I gave pole fitness a go. And I've been doing music and voice acting. Another thing that I would like to do is paint a whole bunch of paintings and have an art gallery, like showing thingy eventually. Just little things like that I was never able to do as a child. Now I'm wanting to do, make an album, just, living life. Oh, and I want to go skydiving.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have
So
to video that.
when are you going to do it?
Well, originally it was going to be not long after leaving, as kind of like, I'm free type thing. And then COVID happened last year. And so now I'm like, well, I'll do it for my 30th birthday because as a witness, you couldn't do birthdays. I can do a 30th birthday. Why not? So I'm going to try and plan for that. Hopefully I can afford it for then. So yeah, it really depends on money, but ideally hoping to do it for my 30th birthday. I know it's going to be cold because it'll be winter, but somewhere around then.
Okay. Here's a message for you, Emma.
Yay!
Well, I really want to say thank you for being part of our first Let's Chat panel. And we'll look forward to, in the months to come, seeing others. And while we're on it, those ones who are watching or those ones who will watch later, if you'd like to be part of this, we'd love to have you part of it. So send me a message, and we can have a chat. If it becomes necessary, we'll put it on more frequently. And we'd love to see as many who want to be part of this little chat. Now, we're going to talk about different subjects. So it's going to be an opportunity to have your say, to maybe encourage somebody, maybe ask the panel members other questions that you want to ask them. So it's an opportunity to be part of this particular one. So once again, ladies, thank you very much for being able to be here. We've certainly appreciated your time and your efforts and letting us know how you really felt about the things that you went through and how you're feeling about that now. So thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Alrighty, guys. We've certainly appreciated that. And we want to say thank you once again for everybody who's been on the live stream. We look forward to seeing you again. In the meantime, keep safe, keep happy, and smile. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the things you're doing now, because we've got an opportunity. We're not in the JWs anymore who have controlled us. We are in control of our lives, and whatever happens to us in the future, that's basically up to us. So tear off the shackles, get rid of them, and have fun. So until next time, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you again once again.
Anyway,
bye for now.
If you have any thoughts and comments, please just put them in the comments section below, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you guys. And take care. Bye for now.